Hey everyone, welcome to Wild Breakaway with Ryan Carter. I'm Audra Martin. It's not too often that a 4-1 lead isn't enough to get the job done. That was the case, unfortunately, tonight for the Minnesota Wild, watching 3 unanswered goals from the New Jersey Devils, forcing overtime, and then the dagger in overtime as the last place New Jersey Devils take this one on home ice. In Minnesota Wild, this one is going to sting. There's just no denying that.
Yeah, it was a huge game. We talked about it before the game, too. It's just a big statement game, and we wanted to see who was going to come out and who was going to show that they wanted this. They got a good response and a good start from maybe some unheralded guys that have done good things, and that we wish that maybe the story could be different, where we would be rewarding them with positive praise right now, but instead the story is a little bit more somber than that. They let a 3-goal lead get away, and now, I mean, They did salvage a point,
yeah.
And that does help in the standings, but it doesn't feel like there's any positives coming out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Goals from guys like Joel Eriksson Ek, Nick Seeler, and Brad Hunt. Certainly the silver lining here tonight, but there is not much of a silver lining, let's be honest. It's a 5-4 overtime loss. When it comes to special teams tonight, power play goals in 4 straight for Minnesota. It's the second longest streak of the season. 12 power play goals allowed, however, in the last 11 games. And for Minnesota, it's 5 goals allowed in each of the last 2 games. So the question was asked of Bruce Boudreau, what will be the deal going forward in Sunday's game when it comes to the guy between the pipes?
We'll see what transpires. But, I mean, there's a couple things. I mean, one, we're not blind. We saw how they went in. But the other thing that bothers me is once we have them, and we do this all the time, you get them down, and you don't get that killer instinct, and you stop playing, and you try to defend all the time, and it's a losing way to play.
So now the Wild will wrap up this 4-game homestand against 2 very different teams, the red-hot St. Louis Blues, who are on a 8-game win streak, and the Anaheim Ducks, who have just 1 win in their last 8 games. So first things first, a Central Division opponent in the St. Louis Blues, a team that looks incredibly different than the last time we saw them. The Wild have wins in both of the meetings so far this season, but again, that's a very different team now than what we saw earlier in the season.
It's a different team, and it's going to be a different matchup, but the one good thing the Wild have going for them right now is that when they play good teams, they play better. They seem to elevate their game, and they're going to have to, because the St. Louis Blues, as you said, the hottest team in the NHL right now, coming in on Sunday afternoon game, so they've better be ready to play a quick turnaround after a tough loss.
Yeah, it's a game that is not on our air, so we will see you in the homestand finale against the Anaheim Ducks, and hopefully the Wild can find a way to get back in the win column against the Blues. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you in a few days. For Ryan Carter, I'm Audra Martin. Thanks for joining us on Wild Breakaway.